There couldn't be a better moment to talk about failure than in this time where I am just celebrating 8 years of podcasting. And there couldn't be a better guest for this conversation than failure enthusiast Dejan Stojanovic, who has spent the past 10 plus years putting failure on stages at fuck up nights all over Austria. This conversation was actually recorded for my other podcast at first, Podcasting with Impact. So if you don't know that, I also run a podcast where I talk about podcasting. If podcasting is something that you want to explore, you can head over to reginalarco.com where you will find that podcast and also a bunch of really helpful free resources for you to get your own podcasting journey started. And in this episode, we dive into cultural and societal narratives around failure and success. We also explore the discomfort of failing and how to overcome it. We talk about entrepreneurship and podcasting, and we discuss how we can support each other better in our endeavors. We are also answering questions from our community on relabeling failure, the importance of talking about our fuck-ups. We talk about shortcuts to success, but, already give you a spoiler, there isn't any. But Dejan, he has something even better for you. And we also talk about the fear of failing and how to rethink that. And I think this is a topic that so many change makers are also facing as they are building their own purpose-driven initiatives. So I'm so happy that we get to bring this conversation over from Podcasting with Impact also to you here at #Impact.
Failing only means that you have been brave in the first step, right? So you have to do something first. You have to have the first step first. So in order to fail, which is still a 50-50 chance, right? So only with that, I feel like on a daily basis, and it only means that I've tried something. I was not staying within my comfort zone. So I did something that I did not know before how it's going to turn out. And only with that, I already feel encouraged. I already feel stronger than without doing anything at all. So let's just keep in mind that in order to fail, you have to move your asses first. And this is already a lot. This is awesome. And only if you fail, let's be honest, it's still a high chance that you will succeed. But if you fail, that means only that you know something you did not know before, right? So that's the second thing that I think, and I strongly believe, should be celebrated rather than avoided.
And you're really celebrating that in all the events that you have been running over the years, in the last decades. You're putting these people on stage
I do.
that are sharing their big failures. How has that?
I really do.
How has that been? Like, just to see, and maybe for people that haven't been to one of the fuck up nights yet. And I admit, embarrassingly, I haven't either. But I have been really close to going there so many times, and I'm going to be there. Next one, I'm going to be there. But I have been following your journey, and I've dug into the concept of it as well. That there are, there like 3 people on stage, and they share 10 minutes their failures in a very vulnerable way, and how those failures help them grow. I can imagine, if you have been doing this for 10 years, you have 3 people on stage at every event, you're running several events a year. That's a lot of people sharing their failures. That's a really strong community of people becoming maybe also failure enthusiasts, right?
Yeah. That's my goal. So for those who do not know Fuck Up Nights, like you said, years ago, it started. It's a global movement today, but many, many years ago, it started in Mexico with a couple of friends drinking a lot of mezcal, like they try to say and sell the idea. But they started with something which was very interesting back then, not only to celebrate the successes when you go to a networking event and just to show off, but rather also speak about things that didn't go as planned, right? And basically at the same time, I was leaving my career in Austria as becoming a lawyer. So I was I finished the School of Law. I was working for a law firm, but then I had an idea for a tech company, a tech solution for a problem that I have encountered back then. And so I left this career path of becoming a lawyer and jumped into the business of startup world and the ecosystem of the startups. And that's also something where I very soon have discovered here in Austria that with a lot of people that I try to work with and kind of get them on board, right? To do something disruptive with me, because I have this great idea and I think it's beneficial for everybody. But in order to realize it, we have to work together. And a lot of companies, especially, were hesitant. They were like, the German way, the Austrian way is very much like you to take the risk first, and we will not support you. And actually, we will kind of put you down. But if you succeed, please come back, and then we will be the great company that is supporting you, right? So, which is such a completely different way than we maybe know from Silicon Valley. So this is what I have encountered, and I've been at many networking events. We were speaking about that, and then we came up to do something against it. And back then, we reached out to the Mexicans doing the fuck up night, and we're like, look, we're gonna do something. What is your idea of that? And that's how we had a high five. Awesome, you want to do it in Austria? Just go for it, because we believe you can become a whole global movement. And many years later, that's what we are today. So Austria and what I do in Austria is just part of the whole big thing. A lot of us are doing it individually, so there is no headquarter. Some claim that there is a headquarter, some claim that it's a franchise system, which is not. We're all entrepreneurs, and we have our different motivations to do so. And this is the story. I mean, everything started like as a small idea and a regional idea, and became a huge success around the world with many people that are very committed to their communities, to their cities, and to their countries. And they tried to bring it and succeeded in doing so. So when I started it, it was amazing. It was an amazing journey because I had a strong connection to the community in Austria, especially in Vienna. I had those speakers on stage, and today I can say that I had more than 300 speakers sharing a failure story on stage, which is basically we have 3 speakers. Each of them has 10 minutes to present what was the initial idea, what went wrong, and then basically what did they do wrong, and also what did they learn from it. Because we also focus very much on the lessons learned and not only on this voyeuristic failure itself and the painful part, but what's the learning thing of that. Amazing. 10 minutes each. We have a Q&A session, and after 90 minutes, it was a phenomenal event. And today, with the more than 300 speakers, I really can tell you it's so emotional even today, that not only coaching them and getting them ready because it's not easy to tell a story in just 10 minutes, but also like what I'm learning from that. This is just incredible. I had so many great people on my stage that I'm really grateful.
Yeah, I can imagine that must be really special also, just being in that room together and sharing that moment, really face to face in an actual offline setting. Just
yesterday. I mean, just yesterday. That's where I'm getting confirmed every day. But just yesterday, I had a speaker. She was on stage 5 years ago. And she told me something that I didn't do before. She confirmed as well that it was such a great moment. She needed that. She needed that moment on stage to tell the truth, to say, look, I fucked up. It's very emotional, but there are also some lessons learned that I would like to share with the audience. And then magic happens, at least at my events. That's where the magic happens, because we do have people who are willingly sharing something which is not shiny, which is not awesome, which is not great, but it's just like, I tried something and it didn't work out. I fucked up, but this is my lesson learned. At the very same time, we have more than like 200, 300 people in the stage, in the audience, listening to this hero on stage who is sharing these secrets of success, these secrets of the business, and try to take as much as possible from it so that we avoid making the same mistake like somebody else did to us, right? So that is where the magic happened. And you're so right. This is such a very, very, very strong connection that happens on every fuck up night. And still, disclaimer, it's pure business. So we do not celebrate like the painful emotional things. We do not celebrate the voyeuristic part of it. We do not also speak about like, my ex-wife, she left me and I fucked up. There are some formats for that as well. But what we really focus on is just plain business. And we try to showcase that failures are part of the success, of the business success, however you see it, but it's always part of success.
Mm. And I hear that on my podcast as well. I mean, I looking at on both of my channels, so #Impact, a podcast about stuff that matters, where I speak with these amazing change makers that are building initiatives from scratch. Some of them NGOs, some of them social impact businesses, entrepreneurial activities where you just need to take those risks and put yourself out there to even move forward, right? And at the same time, also looking at my clients starting their own podcasts. Every time you start this podcast, it feels a bit like starting your own company as well. It's also entrepreneurial because there are so many aspects of running this podcast, especially as my clients are looking to run their podcasts alongside their businesses as well, or build their podcasts as a revenue stream for them. So there is this, I would say it's almost like feeling a little bit torn. And I speak for myself now as well, of knowing that you need to embrace failure and you need to embrace imperfection to even get it started, to even just take that first step, that initial step, but also you need to continuously learn how to get comfortable with failing over and over and over again. And I just wonder, it's a necessity. It's something that we all need to embrace. But how do you think that like our cultural narratives around success like limit these purpose-driven podcasters and these purpose-driven change makers to actually embrace experimentation and to embrace potential failure?
Yes. Wow, that's a good question, to be honest. And I really think this is the conversation that we should also have, right? Because whenever we see any motivational speakers, wherever we look, actually, it's always about addressing the individual and telling the individual, look, it's part of the game. Just get comfortable with it. I believe in you. No, sorry, that's not said. That's the thing. That is not said. But just get comfortable with it and do it and learn along the way, right? And then we can encourage them, or we provide them any sources of knowledge or even money or whatever it is. But it's always focused on the individual that is supposed to do something. But what I have at least encountered over the last years, and this is something that I'm very much focusing on in the future of my failure business, is the society. Because let's be honest, who's having the real power of changing the culture, of influencing it to the good? It is the society. It's those people who are not doing anything, right? That have the power to either give you support, encourage you by giving you support, and encouraging you by maybe sharing some knowledge with you. They have because they have done it before. That's the very crucial part here. Maybe they even have money, right? And if they don't have that, that's something that I have encountered in Silicon Valley, which is so sad that it's only there. That if they cannot give me knowledge or money, at least I've received a lot of good vibes. And this is so simple, right? But it's such a difference if you have people around you who say like, look, I don't know what you're doing, but you're going to make it. All right. Like, yeah, how do you know? But it doesn't matter. You don't have to know, because I believe and you believe me too. And that feels good. And I want to continue doing this, attacking those challenges. This is so simple, but at the very same time, crucial. And I think this is something that we're missing in Europe very, very much. Because what we try to do, even if it's in the best faith, we try and kind of kill the vibe, right? We kind of kill the energy of those founders. Even if there's some believers already behind them, we still believe to know it better. And we kind of feel feel entitled to share this negativity with them. So that's what I try to say. Like, even if now with some 3 ideas on how all of us can help, is either you encourage them and you support them with knowledge or money, right? Or you encourage them just with good vibes. And if you can't do those 2 things, then just zip it. Like, that's so simple, but at the very same time also very, very important, because what does this mean to zip it, right? It just means that we are allowing ourselves, we are giving ourselves and the others around us the freedom to think. It's not this chain around the neck anymore. It's the badge of honor. Just do it and let's see what happens. And if you fail, I'm going to encourage you to continue, because now you know something you did not know before. So just imagine a society where this happened.
Yeah. I got a lot of great questions also from the community as well that I just want to pass on.
Yes,
yeah.
Good.
So I'd love to start with that one. Ask him. Yeah. About his favorite ways of relabeling failure.
Yeah. Like I said at the very beginning, I'm not even relabeling. I'm changing the narrative. Failure. There's this thing in German, Fehler, right? Which means, it's a help. If you reuse the letters, it also means helper, being a helping hand or something like that. So I'm not even changing and reframing the word itself, but I'm just reframing how I see things that are not going as planned. As a failure, all right, it's a mistake, yeah, maybe. But it also means to me, like I said at the beginning, that I have done something in order to get there. And this is already 90% what I actually need on a daily basis to feel strong by doing things, not by just overthinking that. That's so important to understand. And then as well, I know something I didn't know before. So failure is reframed not as the single word, but rather what does failure mean to me? And it means something very positive.
Mm.
What was it with the Helfer, right? Fehler, Helfer. That's like, if you readjust the letters, it just means Helfer, which is in German the word for.
Okay, now I get it.
Somebody that helps, right? Sorry, yeah.
I'm too slow. I'm too slow now. That's yeah. Okay, if you reshuffle it in the
right, exactly. So what is hidden in this word? It just means it's helping you for so many reasons, right? It's helping you to understand that you've done something to get there. Boop, let's celebrate that. It means that you know something that you didn't know before. So that's with the right mindset, you will think rather, let's see what I've learned in order to try it again, rather than oh shit, I failed, I'm embarrassed, I should stop and seek some emotional recovery because I'm a loser, right? That's so effed up, right? To think like that.
Yeah. When a really good one, I think it definitely relates to that as well, that how we look at failure as something where we can actually learn from it and it helps us to grow, is another question that came in, very vulnerable, I feel. And I've also thought about that a lot. So I'm really curious what you think about that. And the question around it was, when you now share a fuck up story, it often comes with hindsight and these lessons learned. But do you think there is value in talking about failures when you're still in the mess and uncertainty?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's not just my opinion, because I'm like brainwashed myself somehow. But like the lady that I've met before, Bianca Oswald, she was amazing, because at the very beginning she was also supporting the thing, and she just told me yesterday it was so strong for her. It was so much needed to kind of close the chapter. I'm in the midst of the mess, right? So I'm still emotionally struggling. But that was the perfect stage to share it, because I have felt the energy that I'm giving something that people are receiving with open arms, right? That's a perfect combination. So it is so much in general. Also later, some days later, after you've reflected on everything, it's always the same thing. It's so So important to share it. But then again, I just recently in Linz had a fucking at last year in November with two speakers being in the midst of the mess, right? Still in the insolvency process and trying to figure it out. But they just took the mic and like, let me tell a story because I am in the midst of it. And look at that. It's not that bad. Actually, the other guy, the second guy, he said that he even shared his failure on LinkedIn or shutting down the company on LinkedIn, and people did celebrate it. Actually, a lot of people made him an offer to either join their companies or to do something new with their money. So you see, there is like a win-win-win. You have just to be surrounded by the right people, and they are out there. But my job is going to be to increase this number of people so that it does not feel a pain and shameful thing anymore, but rather it gives me confidence because I'm the one out of 10 who did something in the first place. And like in the United States, it should be more a badge of honor rather than a chain around the neck that is right now happening and as it is perceived in Europe.
I mean, it's what's the English word for it? Absurd. You know, sometimes it's like, this is actually absolutely ridiculous. This could be, I feel often like I'm in a slapstick, you know, I'm like living my own comedy every single day. And is that something that you would, that you see happen often or that you would like to see more of, that people feel relaxed about their failures by laughing them off even?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we should take those things serious because there's always a strong lesson behind every failure, right? And then behind every story. So, but then we can just have fun and laugh about how did we get there, right? And either it was a stupid mistake. Oh shit, I should have known better. But look, you're not a loser. The thing failed. You're not a failure, right? That's very important to distinguish.
That's a good one. Like you are not the failure.
It's not you, right? I mean, maybe you were rushing it. Maybe you just had a pressure. You had to do it, but then it failed. Again, it failed, but not you as a human, as a person. And that's very, very strong. And then obviously there was this saying that I forgot how it goes, but it's like time and tragedy turns into laughter or something like that. There is something like that. And obviously, right, every after time is like curing everything. But again, let's not, I would love to change the narrative and move away from, look, this is painful and we need strategies to overcome that. And I would love to go to have a high five. I want to be jealous of you because you did something and you're 2 steps ahead, right? There is like, many incredible, like all the incredible people that we celebrate for their successes. Are we really celebrating them for being awesome, or are we actually celebrating them for being these entrepreneurs that did not give up, that came up with an idea, they struggle a lot, you know, this movie thing where there's a challenge, but they overcome it and now they succeeded. I think that's the reality what we're celebrating and not the result of any famous people that we believe that are very important in our lives. So that's very interesting to see as well. So changing the narrative, it would be one thing that I really would love to achieve over the course of my doings to really make it something strong. And let's be honest, I know the shortcut to success. I mean, I like it too. If I want to succeed in the first attempt, but that's not the reality. So we have to be comfortable. We have to get comfortable with that. It is not reality. So what is the reality? That we do something, we learn it, we adjust, and then we do it again. So yeah, let's have some fun at this journey by walking the steps rather than just being focused on the outcome. And as long as we do not have the outcome, we are losers. This is very wrong, to be honest.
Yeah, and to kind of like bring it now to full circle and to maybe really narrow it down to some like actionable steps, because I really feel the pain of it. Like I really can so empathize with everyone that is starting something from scratch, in the social impact space, in the podcast space, where you feel there is a lot to lose. There's just this perception, there is a lot for me here to lose if I fail. I actually want to bring it back to one lovely comment that I'm going to read it out full now. Also as a call to action for all of you listening now, to also find Dejan and myself over on LinkedIn, where we're also hanging out. Yeah, if you want to engage with us directly, where we had this lovely comment after I shared about you coming on and encouraging everyone to share some questions. LinkedIn does not allow for a long enough comment for all the failures in podcasting that I made. The one that resonates most is being afraid to fail. Please ask your failure enthusiast for his top 3 tips on this. So what if someone is listening now and they're hearing all your encouragement, and they know, I should see it as learning, and I should, there's a lot of things that rationally we can tell ourselves about it, but there is still that feeling of being afraid to fail. What are your top 3 tips on overcoming that?
That is a very good, and I might repeat myself because I really believe there is such a simplicity behind this topic, that we do not need this master thesis and PhDs to bring it down to something that is very, very simple, right? So, first of all, I encourage everybody to focus on themselves first. If you want to do something, then ask yourself, like, am I doing something today? And how much can I win by just start acting? What is it that I want to achieve? Do I want to achieve the small steps? Do I want to achieve seeing me being active? Or do I just want to go to the shortcut to success, which is something that is not existing? So just focus on the first thing, which is make your first step, and it's going to feel great, right? The second thing, like I heard, there's so much to lose for me, is it's not. Look, nobody gives a S if you're winning or losing. That's something that at least happened to me, and I've done a lot. I've written books about this topic, but I would love to share my story when it comes to that, because when I had my tech company, we fucked up hugely, right? And I reflected very much on that, and I came to the solution that there are some 3 tangible things that I did wrong, that we did as a team wrong, in order to fail with the tech company. So the first thing was obviously that we were focusing too much on the solution and not the problem that we were trying to solve back then. And that's the reason why the majority of startups and projects fail. We try to make it more beautiful and better and bigger, and then we kind of separate ourselves with the initial problem that we try to solve. And that's most of the time something simple, right? But then you have a huge solution for something simple, and it's just not matching and working. So the reason number 1 why we fail was we built something nobody asked for, or we focused too much on the solution. The second reason that is followed by even a ranking why startups fail, and we match that, is that you run out of money, right? So or time, or the resources. In our case, it was the money, because we have invested a lot of money in this beautiful big solution that nobody cared, right? And then if you build something that nobody asked for and you don't have any money, then you start with the internal fights. That's the founders clash, like in this startup language. And that's what happened to us as well. So just like 1, 2, 3, meet. But here's the thing, ironically, the reason why we fail actually was not like these 3 numbers and reasons, but it was more the fear of failing accelerated our failing. And that's the irony, because we were afraid of not being good enough. We were afraid that people will judge. We were afraid that it has to be perfect, but it was never perfect. So that's why we invested more. We were afraid that people are looking at us like we are in the epicenter of the whole universe, and everybody's just looking at us and judging if we're going to succeed or not. which was so wrong, right? That was such a wrong thinking. And I know that today, but back then I did not. So the irony is that the fear of failing accelerated, forces us to do things that were, from our business perspective, very wrong. And that's what I realized. And that's what I told myself. Damn, nobody cares, right? I mean, of course there's some people, but are they really judging how I do business? Am I allowing them to be so influential on me? And that is where I told myself I will never, ever be again afraid of things. I do quick things. I experiment, I fail, I share them. And it's so much fun to see how people can benefit from that. So that then it's a win-win. I did something in the first place. I know something, and now I can even help others to not do the same mistake, or at least give them some inspiration to do it in a different way. It's so emotionally, but in a positive way. I hope this answers a little bit the question, because this is rather my story. It's not a scientific approach, and I think we do not need those things. It's just a simple numbers game. How many startups fail, and why do they fail, and how did they end up there? And then you just don't do it. Easy as that. So if you believe that you are afraid, then ask yourself, are you afraid because you believe that people will judge you? And how can you fix that? How can you start ignoring? How can you become a more confident person, that it's not about them and they should not have the strong impact on you, but rather like do your thing, start small, like this, fail fast, fail early, learn fast, learn early. That's a beautiful saying. How can you implement that in your life? And I trust you. I mean, I strongly believe you will have your success.
Yeah, it's encouraging. Definitely, I know it will be for many to hear. To hear that, and the good mindset shift as well. I love how you put that, like this vicious circle. You know, the more afraid you are of failing, the more you'll fail, because you're not gonna even try anything. And then you will see in the other episodes as well that I'm putting together in this little mini series on failing, that they're, you know, it's universal. We are just human.
Yeah.
We are wired like that as well. So cut yourself some slack and be kind to yourself, and the important reminder to bring it back to you without getting distracted by the noise that you think is happening. Because the good reminder here as well was who is actually gonna, you know, care or judge you for, if we want to bring the example of starting your own podcast, who is gonna be coming and you care so much about it that you think the whole world is gonna care about it.
Yes, exactly.
What is just not it isn't the case. Yeah, so that was a great reminder also for myself, as I continue to fail forward. That's my new motto for this year.
Absolutely. But I would love to bring up something, because you call it right now noise, and I just wanna remind ourselves that we can be both, right, in a good or negative way. Like, we can be the ones who are starting a podcast or a business, and so we believe that, you know, everything is circles around us. But at the very same time, we can also be the noise for others, right? So we should reflect on that as well. What is it that I can do in order to create this world where failure is something strong, where learning from it is great, where it's a badge of honor, you know, all those positive aspects, and ask yourself, what is it that you can do? If you're trying something, and I think that's quite easy to understand, right? To ignore it, to think forward, and all those positive affirmations. But then again, I think what many people did not think about it so far is to also reflect on, what is it that I'm giving? What is to the society? What is my role? Is there something that I am doing in a wrong way to be for somebody else the noise? To be somebody else's noise. Maybe I'm the noise somewhere else. And that's so important that we do try to reflect on both and to pay into this thing, because together, this will come at the end together, and then we're going to create a society where we encourage each other and support each other, rather than remaining in the same status that we are today. Fear of failing and being the noise, right? So that is something that I would love to to address your audience right now and really think about it. Are you the noise? Can you be a positive noise if you're already a noise? As well as, are you afraid of failing, and try to reframe it and to see positively?
Oh, I love that. That's going to be the highlight of this episode, when we're when we're putting the promo together, that's going to be cut out and that's going to be pushed out everywhere on all the channels. You're going to see it.
Let me rescript it with ChatGPT quickly. Let me just rescript it to be more like, I don't know, more powerful. But I think I was speaking from the heart. So that's what I really believe. And I really think, and if this is the highlight, I would be very happy to see that.
Your voice matters. Use it to make an impact. That's what I always encourage people to remember. It was a beautiful reminder, because if I'm thinking of all the wonderful people out there that maybe haven't had the courage yet to actually launch their podcast or speak up on, or, even if you're invited on a podcast and you're maybe, especially the people I work with in the change making space, these are oftentimes, especially looking like from a charity NGO perspective, these people are, first of all, they're super busy, but then also they're super humble. They're really in it to serve and to make an impact and are, hands-on. And oftentimes they are so humble that they are actually not making enough noise about the work that they do. And that's where I feel also and you said that in your post that I really loved, that you want to be that cheerleader for others. And that's definitely a title that I very proudly carry as well within my community, because they've been referring to me as that as well, to, we gotta cheer each other on, and you can do it too for others. So if anything, if this episode is leaving you with anything, is that, what would be your final words now? I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thank you. So, maybe there's this one last sentence that I would love to say, which is, like we're connected to the noise and cheerleading, right? So give yourself the freedom to fail, because great things going to happen. And at the very same time, give others the chance to fail. Don't be a noise. Give others the chance to fail, to have a first attempt, because maybe they need exactly this one lesson in order to break through. So it's all about the freedom to fail.
Yes. Everyone, of course, wants to connect with you now. Where do people... You'll have it in the show notes, of course. We'll add them in the show notes. But you wanna let them know where to find you.
Yeah, I would love to see you. If there are any further questions or something like that, I would love to chat with you. Let's do LinkedIn then. I think my tag is very simple. This is Dejan. And obviously, if you're in Austria and you're interested to come to one of the Fuck Up Nights, just go to the fuckupnights.at for Austria. AT, and I'm happy to meet you at one of the Fuck Up Nights that I'm doing in person. That would be even better.
Yes, let's do that. I'll see you at the next Fuck Up Nights. I promise.
26th of February. I want to see you there. Give me a promise.
Oh my goodness.
Give me a public promise.
I'm gonna let's get it on the record. But you know what? I'm not just gonna I'm gonna come, but I'm also, my commitment is I'm gonna bring a crowd to that haven't been yet. So this is how I work. Dejan, this is like, I'm coming, then I'm gonna bring my community as well. And I wish we should do that. Let's look into that. Let's plan. You know what? Let's plan that. I'm going to put that on a vision board for maybe, I don't know, 3 years from now, whatever. Maybe we can do a kind of like Fuck Up Night / #impact in kind of like a really cool setting. And we're bringing all these amazing podcasters all over the world together.
Yes.
And everyone can just share, not just 3 people. I would love to see everyone in the audience actually say, I did this wrong, I did this wrong, I did this wrong. Yeah. And look at all of us now putting our voice out there, making some noise.
It's going to be a showing off competition. Who is having more failures and more lessons learned?
Yeah.
And that's going to be judged by the audience. Because in the end,
that sounds fun. There's going to be an award. There's going to be an award.
There's going to be an award as well.
Failure of the night. I like that. See, look at that. We're going to make it happen. All right.
We're going to make it happen. I'm excited.
This.
Thank you. Thank you. Really. I mean, I really appreciate what you're doing and also inviting me to your podcast. I hope there was at least, if there's something, at least one sentence, one word that is having an impact on the listeners, then I am already grateful for that. And again, if there's something else we want to chat about, then reach out to me on LinkedIn or via the website, and I would be happy to continue chatting with you.